Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Allow me to show you the wall that any amount of quality will break.
Am I Deadpool or am I just Dippy in a mask?
We want to be naked too. What?
How am I doing this? Ow! What do I do about this? What? Who's creeping over there? Big! Big! Oh, this is a big boy! Ah!
Wait! I need to get one more line!
And now, the conclusion.
And there's a moment where he uses his catchphrase, and when he finally does, like, of course, you see the trailer, and it's like, alright, he's gonna use the catchphrase, because it's something that's only done in an animated show, and he actually doesn't ever do it. He doesn't say it's clobbering time. So Torch gets him to do it, but when he finally does it, it's in a very nerdy, kind of dorky, rushed way, because he's just not used to saying it. So he doesn't just belt it out like he would in the olden days. He's just like, it's clobbering time! Except better. And also, he's strong as fuck. He, like, effortlessly can lift cars. He pulls a boat, kind of like Man of Steel Cavalman did. I don't know if that was a joke or what, but he does it. He pulls a boat by the chain. Maybe they were saying our movie's better than your dog shit. So yeah, the final fight is cool because there's one point during Sue's speech to the people where she talks about how her mom would move heaven and earth for her. And she said, you know, I would move heaven and earth for you people. You're part of something bigger. You're part of us. We're all family. And that makes Reed Richards realize, like, why don't we move Earth away from Galactus, because his ship takes time to get to places, although it kind of gets to the solar system and then to Earth pretty fast, but whatever, it's a movie. So the plan is to move it somewhere where he can't find it. It'll take millions of years to find again. And in the beginning of the movie, it's established he's working on teleportation. He can move an egg, but it shuts down the fucking Baxter building and the city block. Eats a lot of power. Hence the power curfew. Oh no, my power is going down at 8 p.m. Play as that fat cat. And, but the point of the power curfew is to save power, store it somewhere as they're building big versions of, I think they called it a space bridge, and there are locations all over Earth, and the idea is they'll all activate and transport the Earth away while Galactus is approaching from within the solar system. And the world pulls together, and they manage to get it done, and they're about to teleport when all of a sudden space bridges all over the planet start getting fucking destroyed. And it's the Silver Surfer, because she's back and pissed off and intent on letting Galactus eat the planet, even after the aforementioned talk with Johnny where he's guilting her. Wait, no. Dumbass. That leads to the talk because they're about to do it, and then he shows up and there's like a chase, and then they talk and he guilts her and she leaves. Fake movie seer. So then that leaves Reed Richards kind of despondent and hopeless because Galactus is still on his way and the space bridges are gone now. The power they saved is wasted, and they have one space bridge left conveniently in their home city, wherever the fuck his name was. Might have just been New York. I'm pretty sure they said a name at one point. I'm pretty sure the sound quality was kind of bad because of the way I was watching the movie, which was in a theater where it's too loud. Yep. But they changed the plan up. They know Galactus wants Franklin Richards, and they have one teleporter left, so they elect to use Franklin to lure Galactus in, and that's where, like, the final battle happens. And up to this point, the movie hadn't really been, like, superhero schlock, because it's a Fantastic Four movie, so they actually leaned into it being Fantastic Four. And then there's, even the fight isn't, like, super corny. It's, Galactus starts walking through the city. Mole Man had actually established peace thanks to Sue Storm, and they established that early in the movie, and they realized, like, Galactus is going to be walking to, like, the center of the city, and there's a lot of people, so we should probably do something. So Mole Man harbors these people underground, which the ground almost, like, it looks like it wants to collapse when Galactus is walking, which is awesome, because he's kaiju sized. He is huge. His first scene when he shows up on their ship, his eyes light up and you just see his faint outline. It was awesome. And he's walking through the city and they start, like, trying to do whatever they can to hurt him. Thing at one point throws a truck, an oil truck, and Johnny lights it up. But then Thing grabs, like, a crane to chuck at Galactus, and Galactus grabs the crane and chucks Thing into space, and Torch grabs him, which sets up the scene where later he yells it's clobbering time. Mr. Fantastic actually does a good job of, like, putting up an offense, because he's using agility and stretchiness. He's doing that to get on, like, Galactus's back. Get up on the Galactus's back! And he's popping, like, a bunch of little circles on him open that, like, let out magma, because I guess Galactus kind of stores what he eats inside of him. It's not fully clear, but they leave it as, like, a big cosmic horror entity. You don't fully know him. It's not like in the comics where his physical form is really just what we perceive. I guess, I don't know. He's just a big man in a suit that contains magma meatus. And then he gets grabbed by Galactus. Fantastic Man does. And he's stretching him, and it's starting to rip his clothes. He doesn't really get to stretch that far before he starts, like, dying. But then that's when, like, Torch flies back in with Thing, and he gets him to yell it's clobbering time. He throws, like, a Thing cannonball. Well, he flies into Galactus with the Thing cannonball while he's, like, fired up, and that stuns him, and he knocks. Stop saying knocks! He drops Mr. Fantastic, and then Thing and Torch drop because, you know, they just went head on literally with Galactus. And I think at this point, when he first gets to the city, they try to trick Galactus. They blast Galactus in the eyes with fire and try to switch out Franklin Richards with, like, just an empty baby carriage and they just have it sitting at the center of a teleporting thingy. But he figures it out because he's not an idiot. He's billions of fucking years old and has sensors and shit. So he goes to the Baxter building and grabs Franklin, and then that's when they have to put on that combined offense. So they're all kind of beatered out after that, and Sue had been trying to get back to the building and got smacked down in, like, the Fantasticar, which is awesome in this movie. It's just like a fucking old classic car that can fly and do cool things. But she hears Franklin crying. First she gets out of the car, she hears Franklin crying and just fucking activates mega telekinesis, fucking the Zeta Flare telekinesis, sort of. She grabs Galactus and he kind of shakes her off, and then she grabs him again and spins him around, like, in air, and then it's kind of like a telekinesis battle back and forth because he also has it and uses it a couple times. And I think Franklin powers her up, or maybe just it was supposed to be his cries powered her up, but I'm pretty sure he does power her up because of something later, and she's able to just push Galactus, and they activate the portal, which is now behind him. Reed gets Franklin out of, like, Galactus's grip, and Sue basically dies pushing him into the portal. And then he pops back out just as Thing's like, we did it! Because the portal was open for 37 seconds and they had, like, 11 left. And Galactus was like, bitch, what? And then Johnny is in the sky and he's like, tell Franklin I love him. And he's gonna go fly full power into Galactus. And then he gets fucking knocked out of the way by Silver Surfer, which I totally knew was gonna happen. I mean, we're gonna have a big, dumb, totally planned Avengers and Doom movie. But Silver Surfer knocks Torch out of the way, and then she flies full force into Galactus to kind of finish the fight and push him into the portal, and she's gone with him. Who knows what happens to them? They're somewhere across the universe without a ship. So basically stranded, because Galactus needs the ship to fly. As powerful as he is, he ain't fucking getting anywhere without it. He got out of it to get down to Earth and try to get Franklin. He had a big chair! But that scene, the fight overall was kind of short, simple, well done overall. The whole movie, like, the visuals weren't super CGI-y. I mean, it was CGI. And it might have been slightly blurred with the way I watched it. But the visuals are great. Very pretty movie, very cosmic horror-y at times. Galactus' ship is kind of terrifying when they go inside of it. It's got like chains and shit everywhere, Earth being moved through it, and magma. It's terrifying when the ship gets to them at first because it's huge and just bored through a planet, and all they can really do is try to like fly towards it to see if they can get to Galactus before he catches them in it. Beam. Oh yeah, so Sue Storm dies, and then Franklin Reed puts him down on her to kind of say goodbye or something after he failed to resuscitate her, and then she just mysteriously comes back to life because Franklin is suddenly happy and she's alive because he is Franklin Richards, and like all tests they'd done on him showed him to be normal, but Galactus knew better, and then he's might have been powering up Sue, but he definitely brought her back from the dead. Like her eyes are all blue and kind of there's a weird dot grid going on when she like wakes up gasping for air, and yeah, so Franklin is definitely very, very powerful. And then there's a dumb end credits scene. Well, dumb only because of context outside of the movie, and I feel bad. So early on in the movie, during the summit where they're talking about the world achieving peace and dismantling their weapons, Latveria, their representative, is noticeably absent. And in the end credits movie, it's 4 years after the events of the film. Sue's walking back in with a book for Franklin, and there's a man in a green cloak and a metal suit of armor, and his mask is on the table and his back is to us, and Franklin's like touching his face. And it's like, it's Dr. Doom. That would be cool normally. It'd be very cool, because he looked cool. Two fucking baddies played by Robert Downey Jr. in the dumbest pivot, and the laziest pivot, and the most cash-grabbing pivot the studios forced this universe to do. Because, yep, unless it's going to be fucking Mads Mikkelsen in charge of it all at the end, it's kind of ruined by the fact that it's just the Iron Man actor, and that maybe he's the Iron Man of that universe, or he's the Tony Stark of that universe, or just there's a lot of cases where different characters are played by the same actor, so they just end up looking the same. Maybe that's all this is. As a matter of fact, it's probably all it is. He's not a Tony Stark variant. He's just some dickhead that looks like Tony Stark. Victor Von Doom just happens to look like him, probably. Just happens to be played by Robert Downey Jr. to trick the fans into coming back. He just make good movies. Well, although I did establish before that they were different. Okay, pretty good. Okay. Not universe building. But yeah, it's kind of a wet fart given that twist. But maybe it's not Robert Von Doom. Maybe it's actually a different Dr. Doom, and Robert Von Doom is going to show up in Avengers Doomsday. Maybe Kang, actor, it was all kayfabe and he didn't actually go to jail for domestic violence. It was all just a plan so you wouldn't see that Kang is still going to be in the movies. Wouldn't that be something? Good planning, Disney. But yeah. Would have been a cool scene, but otherwise, great movie. One of the best in a long time. Definitely the best Fantastic Four. Blows the others way out of the fucking water. And this was a good summer for movies. Superman came out and was good, and Fantastic Four came out and was better. I really liked both, though, and this movie I definitely recommend it. I might even go see it a legal way. He said, not with the implication that he didn't before. That's for you to infer, Yuki boy. Oh, and there's like a cool, funny scene before the credits roll where they're like, the men of the Fantastic Four are trying to figure out a car seat, and it's like, oh, haha, men can't, even though it's like a seat Reed invented, and there's 3 of them and they're super powered, but it's still funny, even if stereotypical. So yeah, good movie. I recommend it. Just call the 4.